There you go.
It's a
My
virus
bad.
spread by mosquitoes that spread dengue and Zika. Symptoms are high fever, joint pain so bad it makes people hunch over,
I fixed it. I
muscle
fixed it. I
aches,
fixed it. I
and
fixed it.
rashes. This is no joke, you guys. Like 7,000 There's currently cases in no cure or treatment. It's rest, hydration, and wait it out. China's going hard.
Okay, so China chikungunya, mosquito-borne virus. Okay, China is like fighting this hard. Quarter million cases, tons of deaths. Okay. Um, so anyway, since we were without audio, good morning. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. And if we're not talking about, no, we're banned from TikTok. If we're not talking about chikungunya virus and how China is fighting this with releasing drones, uh, like hunter mosquitoes. For the record, there are like hunter killer mosquitoes. Who knew? That eat other mosquitoes, particularly their young. Here's the story from the AP. I think beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you're only in here for a minute, if you only watch my show for a minute, I mean, obviously I had to sit through us not having audio because I forgot to change that over real quick. That's my bad. Forgot to change the headphone jack. That's on me. Okay, but here, first thing I would want anyone to know, other than other than Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States, his wives, their children, Donald J. Trump's best friend, Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein's wife, Ghislaine Maxwell, ran an international sex trafficking ring for the better part of 20 years. And those people not being held accountable for their actions is why we are all made to suffer. That's what you missed when I didn't have audio. I think if we're not saying that, if we're not saying the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and his wives and their children, and his best friend Jeffrey Epstein and Jeffrey Epstein's wife Ghislaine Maxwell ran an international sex trafficking ring. And the thing about it is, that the reason that it isn't coming out is that this is part of international organized crime. And you got to understand that there are many heads of state involved, and that this isn't just an American problem. This is a problem all over the world. The rich and powerful and wealthy think about the things that they do. Think about what they're doing. They are going to require you to provide identification in order to use common websites so that they can now have all your information. They didn't freeze my audio yesterday. My internet went down and my service had an update. I had to call in and they had to do it manually over the phone. I was able to work my entire shift without issue. I got internet back about 9:28. So, no, as much as I want to pretend that somebody snipped my line or something, you know what I mean? No, it's a service update. It's all good. Okay. So yeah, the message is the president is a pedophile. Um, it's apparent. His handlers are fumbling his fall. So I just want to make sure we continue to point out that the overwhelming evidence suggests that that man is struggling. Okay. I think the second major story here yesterday is that the U.S. government removed sections 9 and 10 of Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution from their website. Notice that sections 9 and 10 deal with the writ of habeas corpus and Congress's ability to control tariffs. So understand, this is what level of stupidity we're at. Okay? So just know, if YouTube goes down, a whole bunch of other platforms are going to go down. And so I won't be showing my ID to anyone to use anything. Mm, yeah, yeah. Uh, I'm pretty sure there's a major issue with Substack. So Congress has started deleting parts of the Constitution it doesn't like. Did we talk about this yesterday? The Vice President, J.D. Vance, had the water level raised on the Ohio River during a boating trip for him and his family. Like, talk about trying to escape the effects of climate change. How about forcing the using your power as president to force the local community to flood the river so that you can float down it? They're like wannabe kings. You know what I mean? It is fucking wild. It is wild. So weak and powerless over you. Yep. They got absolutely no power. Not a shot fired. They got nothing. So weak and powerless. I saw John Fetterman get accosted for being a Zionist and supporting genocide while he was trying to relax in a park. It's like, yes, yes, yes. One term senator. Tough. So, yesterday, I think this happened after the show. Okay. But along the storyline about the Texas Democrats fleeing the state to avoid quorum so that Texas can't pass a gerrymandered. Yeah, yeah, mosquitoes are scary, yeah. So the Democrats fled to a hotel in Chicago. And Greg Abbott, the Attorney General in Texas, said that they should arrest them. And a bomb threat was called into the hotel that the Democrats were staying in. And now you see how the Republican Party is a terrorist network. All to avoid the accountability of the fallibility of man, right? Like, people are just prone to do dumb and terrible shit. I'm okay with Ghislaine Maxwell getting denied service dog training at the prison camp that she's at. And the statement from the camp was, "We don't allow anyone whose crime involves abuse towards minors or animals, including any crime of a sexual nature." So Ghislaine Maxwell will not train service dogs or get a service dog. I think this is pretty fucking wild. Fake nurse in Florida is arrested and accused of treating over 4,000 hospital patients without a license. Autumn Bardiza, 29, of Florida, arrested Wednesday. I can imagine being pretty rattled after getting a bomb threat. A Fort Bliss soldier was arrested and charged with trying to send details of combat operations to Russia. Way to go, Army! Every single one of you traitorous motherfuckers are always in the goddamn Army. It's because the Army is the common. The common. hmm Tulsi Gabbard, fucking. It's always the goddamn Army. Flynn, fucking. I had a boss that was the vice president of sales. He was a fucking C-suite executive at the company that I worked at. And he took a fucking demotion to come be my direct boss because I was a whistleblower. Because they false advertised. They committed wire fraud. And they encouraged it both. And I recorded countless meetings I sat in where the company I worked for, $1 billion fucking entity. Think about this. I've tried to tell people my whole life, you're gonna make money. You're gonna make money anyway. Why not just do it the right way? If you just do it the right way, you also get to sleep at night and keep your fucking business. When you don't do it right, you're always looking over your fucking shoulder. You can't sleep at night, right? You develop bad habits. Lots of the leadership at the company I worked for were partiers. They were loose cannons. Yeah, that's what I said. She won't be training service animals, and she will not probably get one. I'm guessing she ain't getting one either. Okay. But this guy that used to be the VP of sales that stepped down to be my direct supervisor, his job was to quiet me, to keep me quiet, keep me happy. So, um, whatever. I came in and did my job every day, and this guy stood 4 feet from me like he was gonna do something, right? Um, During the Super Bowl, so keep in mind, like, I'm a sports journalist covering the Indianapolis Colts, right? A paid one, Vox Media, right? And the company that I work for my day job, gets their name drugged through the fucking news for like half an hour during halftime of a Super Bowl. CBS Chicago, Brad Edwards, just fucking interviewing former employees, interviewing fucking customers. Oh, yeah. And 4 days after uh, 4 days after the Super Bowl, Brad Edwards was in my living room. And I told him everything. Showed him everything. hmm And that story never came out. He said he was going to sit on it. He had a feeling I was going to do something great. But yeah, I reported wire fraud. I complained that we false advertised. I got confirmation that we false advertised. We got sat down in meetings where they told us they were false. This is how we're false advertising, right? Basically, what they would do is they'd send a flyer to your house for ADT service for a $99 installation fee, and then they'd razzle dazzle and say, "We'll give you $1,500 in free equipment and replace as many as 15 uh, sensors," right? Well, the problem is most homes are not pre-wired for security, and most homes don't have a hardwired security system in them. So offering someone 15 hardwired door or window contacts when their home's not wired for security is kind of like well, that's kind of like false advertising, right? Not to mention the technicians are not trained to wire a home for security that has not already been wired for security. So not only are you never putting in 15 hardwired door or window contacts, most homes are not wired for a security system. You're only getting 7, and you only need 5. And they're somehow gonna get thousands a $13,000 fucking system written up. And the stupid thing is, they're gonna sell those some percentage of the time off of a false advertisement into the tune of billions. Hmm? Now, ultimately, it is security. People need security. But that company ultimately failed. It changed hands. ADT had to come in and swoop in and buy that company and oust the leadership to save it. Hmm. Most of the people that I know, that I've known for more than a decade, I met working there. Hmm. But yeah, I got fired because that guy caught me talking to Brad Edwards because they started making rules that were a little excessive. Like they didn't care if you were on your phone or what you were looking at on your computer screen as long as you were doing your job. And then all of a sudden they cracked down and stopped letting you have your phone at your desk and stop letting you look at external websites. And when you do that and it's been relaxed the whole time you've been there, you realize they're putting the screws on you, right? Trying to get you to be uncomfortable, trying to get you to leave. Well, remember, it's all smoke and mirrors because we don't have the infrastructure in place to collect tariffs. So tariffs are not actually being collected. Companies are just raising their prices. I keep we went over this. We went over this several times where at the ports where tariffs are collected, there is a little shack, a little telephone booth with a little cash till. That's not the infrastructure necessary to collect millions of dollars in tariffs at the ports every day. So those tariffs are not being collected. What is happening is companies are increasing their prices to reflect a tariff. It is a fucking cash grab. Remember when I tell you billionaires will starve you. They would have you sick and unable to get your own medication. They want you to die. They want you to die poor. They want you to die poor with no way to defend yourself. Uh-huh. Yep. And nothing you can do about it. That's what they want. I just happen to fucking disagree. Yep, it's cash grab. Remember, Donald Trump above all things is a fucking swindler. By the way, if you would. if you would share this to help me grow, that would be helpful. I'm on Blue Sky. You can find me. Uh, at likelyalien.bluesky.social. Okay. If we haven't, hey, just remember you're gonna outlive him. That's what I keep telling people. Don't forget. Get 8 hours of sleep a night. Drink water. Eat right. Exercise. Right? Fuck yeah, it's a cash grab. Absolutely. Absolutely. We go to sleep living in it. We wake up living in it. Oh yeah, I started playing fucking Days Gone again. Amazon's bid to overturn BC labor ruling granting unionization to its workers rejected. So Delta, British Columbia has been awarded unionization. Good. I'm glad they voted down Project Blue. Fuck Amazon. Fuck Elon Musk and Tesla. Fuck all that shit. For those of you that have been following the show for a while, uh, I'm one of those people. I'm every man. Okay, I studied flight at Purdue University, so I can fly in any airplane. As long as you tell me what the buttons do. Um, so our show sort of has a sub theme in that aviation related stuff. We're gonna we're gonna we're gonna feature that. Okay. So yesterday, United Airlines shut down. They grounded their entire fleet. Okay. After a tech disruption, a technology issue. Okay. The overarching sentiment that I see kind of towards uh, that I see towards them is United Airlines was behind technologically. I'm every woman. It's all in you. Hope you're all having a good week. Football starts tonight. The 2025-2026 NFL season preseason starts tonight. My Indianapolis Colts play at the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. Yeah, football. I'll be at work, so doing my thing. By the way, I don't talk about it enough, but this is my ad. So instead of ads, here's my ad. Do you sit up at night holding your head in your hands, wondering how you're going to continue to do this financially? Are you unable to save money every month or inconsistently? Has everything been a little topsy turvy since COVID? Are you only able to make your minimum payments on all your bills? You having trouble keeping up with them? Are you having to buy groceries with your credit cards? Maybe we should talk. For most of you, I'm willing to bet you have more than $10,000 in unsecured debt, and you're probably paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars, if not thousands and thousands a month, on interest. Air. Over 80% of your minimum payments are interest. If you have $10,000 in debt, that's $40,000, and it's going to take you a decade to pay that off. And most people never do. Fuck all these companies. I'm a socialist. The socialist economic theory says that rent, interest, and fucking taxes are derivative of your labor, and they should be limited. I think you should stop paying interest. I could change your life in a couple hours. Yesterday, in an hour and a half, I saved someone 31 years off of their repayment and $200,000. That is a life-changing conversation. You can call me directly, 1-877-230-7106. My direct extension is 2729. I work 12 to 9 Eastern. I'm off on Sunday and Tuesday. Mhm. Now, back to your regularly scheduled. Donald Trump yesterday ordered an additional 25% tariff on India because fucking why not? Yeah. When we started our conversation, she only thought she had $40,000 in debt, and by the time we checked her credit, she had 70. Mm-hmm. A lot of people just put their shit on auto pay and just live their life, and they never look at it. And the person I talked to last night, they said it's really impactful the way you say that. Like, if you keep just doing what you're doing, it's going to take you 37 years to pay this off. It's going to cost you $250,000. You got kids? Do you have their college tuition saved up? Start today. What are we doing? If we're paying out hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month in interest, and we're not able to save, and we're buying groceries on fucking credit, and we have no plan for our child's education so maybe they can fucking avoid this, what are we doing? That's my favorite part of the show, is not show, but my job is telling someone at the end after we do business, hey, you made a great decision. Here's how. We just saved you X amount of years off your payment and this much in dollars. And then they usually just start crying. And then you're like, hold on, I got to get somebody else on the phone because I don't have time for this. I'm just kidding. That's not how it really goes. It is pretty close, though. People, just do it. The Epstein files, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I believe it. Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC says as long as Donald Trump's alive, he should face questions about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And I agree. I agree. Here's Donald Trump ordering the resignation of the CEO of Intel. Yeah, yeah. I shared this picture this morning in the Discord, but I think this is important. This photo shows you BB sitting in a room full of American politicians, and it shows their last name and how much they paid them. So when you see that someone is pro Israel, here you go. You should vote all those people out of politics. How about you be pro America? You know what I mean? I love that there was an election and the Democrats won by 55 points. It's again, it just fuels my theory. This is the death of the Republican Party. You'd be a fool. Only a fool would vote for a Republican now. Learned a long time ago buying groceries on credit. You eat the food, shit it out the next day, and you still got to pay the bill. Hey, there's a reason I tell people to grow a fucking garden. Yeah. My parents when I was young, my parents were stuffing their retirement and the way they kind of hid uh, their money, it's like burying your money in your backyard, is having a lush garden. And I mean, we grew it all for as long as, I mean, 8+ years of my life. We ate all the melon out of that garden. We ate corn and maters and onions and taters and peppers. We did it all. Yep. hmm It hides the cost of food. hmm Of course, you can give me a shout out. So that's the thing about the American Socialist Party. You want to talk about patriotic? Patriotic is saying, nah, I don't hate people when I first see them. I don't dislike people innately. It takes a while. Generally, got to get to know them and see their decision making, whether or not you're going to be an asset or whether I need to move on. There's a lot of people and it's a big country and we got differing thoughts. But here's what I think: I want to test human potential. And I want to know what happens when a generation of kids doesn't have to worry about tuition and student loans. What happens if a generation of kids got at least 2 meals a day from the school so that their parents only had to provide one, so that those kids grow up eating 3 squares a day like everybody else and have the same opportunities as everybody else? Because one of the biggest problems I see is just the differences in experiences. I joked about this, but it's just fucking true. The only time ever in my whole life that I ate 3 meals a day was while I was on active duty. Only time I ever got 8 hours of sleep a night on purpose. Marine Corps, infantry, hoorah. Why? Because if you ain't all there and you ain't all gassed up, we ain't going nowhere. You're gonna bitch. You're gonna be tired. Your stomach's gonna start growling, and I'm gonna hear it. Like I told you, when I got into coaching fucking high school sports, one of the first things that I realized was like, oh, fuck charter schools. This sucks. Charter programs optionally obey the IHSAA rules, the Indiana High School Athletic Association rules. So IHSAA rules say if the kids are at the school an hour before school starts or 2 hours after school, you got to feed them. Either way. So for the record, high schools, if your high school has a football program in the fall, that program is required by IHSAA rules not only to provide breakfast, but to provide dinner. So that means that kid should be eating 3 fucking meals a day at school and high school. And if your program is not doing that, you are not following IHSAA rules. And think about, programs ain't doing that. Schools ain't doing that shit. They're trying to squeeze every dollar they can out of these kids. I think they should all just get breakfast. Tell me a kid's not easier to deal with once you stuff that mouth full of food and sit their ass down. And one of the things that's always pissed me off is people having a problem with other people eating while you're talking. That's called being efficient. What are you talking about? Eat your fucking food. Just try to be quiet. Otherwise, it's rude, right? Don't make a scene. But fucking, these kids do not get nutrition. Like, one of the reasons that kids can't play sports at the next level is because they're malnourished. They're not good enough athletes. Their bones are brittle as fuck. Because you've been eating like shit your whole life. And it is about 1,000% about what you eat, right? I think that's the least that you could do is just feed the kids. I ain't even in the fucking classroom yet and saying what goes on in that fucking zoo. Okay? The hard reality today is that kids either need to embrace technology or learn to do it without technology, and I think it's fucking crazy to take tech away from kids. Now, how do I feel about AI? It's I feel the same way about uh, AI that I do about Israel. It's an unfortunate ally. It is absolutely the enemy of the American people. It is absolutely not in our best interest. It is only costing American lives. It's costing us healthcare. It's costing us education. Understand that our tax dollars subsidize education for Israelis. We give them the the bombs they drop on these women and children. That those are our bombs. If we could stop that, and the world is going to do it, and it's either going to be like as these companies scrape and claw for relevance and die, the military and industrial complex is going to die in my lifetime. And I've been saying I can't wait to watch the military industrial complex collapse in and on itself. But several countries have now canceled their F 35 orders. I think that's Boeing. Oh, and you know what's funny? I had a conversation with someone yesterday. Okay? Check this shit out. Okay? Their husband builds the motors for all these giant ass machines that you see. These earth movers. Okay? All the huge engines. Yeah, that's where her husband builds them for one of them John Deere, Caterpillar, whatever, right? Here in Indiana, works in the only non-unionized plant in the United States. Now, that man is a machinist and damn good at his job. Been there 29 fucking years. So I want you to know, I want to ask you, how much you think he makes a month? 29 years. TikTok. How much you think he makes? Only non-unionized plant in the United States. 29 years on a job with a major manufacturer. Motherfucker gets $1,500 after taxes every paycheck. A couple times a month. 3 grand. 29 years. Okay? Do you have any questions about why you should join a fucking union? Oh, oh, and her? Oh, and her? Her fucking, her, no. $1,500 after taxes every 2 weeks. 3 grand. Do y'all know how much unionized, like, machinist makes? Do you have any idea how much someone that works as a unionized, somebody that builds those big ass motors, honey, they get paid hundreds of dollars an hour. Like, I would venture to say, like, $105 an hour? That's a good baseline. So imagine, and she was bragging with $20,000 in medical debt, where her health care from her non unionized healthcare job, also not unionized. Now she's out of work, had health issues, whatever. Fuck all that. Tear all that away. I don't care about all that. They're okay with it. What broke me about the conversation I had with another adult human is that if I asked you, what do you think a nurse and a machinist bring in a month after taxes, union or non-union? And if you really sat down and thought about how much a nurse, how much a machinist makes, eight, $10,000 a month. Hmm? Just know that if you don't have a union to support you, you make half. And ask me how I know. And you like it, and you cheer for it, and you be glad that you don't also have to pay union dues, and that unions ain't never did nothing for nobody, except in the last couple months, pilots in the United States got paid $1 million payday for their career in flight because of their union. Dock workers in Philly went on strike and turned down a 20% pay raise over 4 years because they can do better. Unions work. It's just people are stupid. Incredibly fucking stupid. Horrifically stupid. We are stupid and we enjoy it. Hmm. That's the fucking problem. Stacy said, my other son in law is in Cleveland, Ohio, Insulators Union. He makes $40 an hour and works weekends. I don't I don't calculate my pay. So I've had like three $16,000 months in a row. And I haven't worked 160 hours in a month in a while. I usually work more. So if I make 16,000 and I work like 155, how much do I make? Huh, 103. Yeah, feels good, man. So, and if you just said holy shit under your breath, by the way, Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in prison, by the way, the media is like Ghislaine Maxwell cleared Donald Trump's name in a 9 hour interview over 2 days, and it's like, so she's in prison for fucking sex trafficking. Why are we taking her word? Ghislaine Maxwell is a fucking criminal. Like, who cares what she thinks? What are we fucking talking about? And that is not my salary. That's what I get paid for my labor. It's different. I don't get paid very much for a salary. You would think America is the happiest place on earth. It's because motherfuckers are on meth. You know, one of the things that I learned over the course of my life is that ibuprofen doesn't cure everything, that you can't be doing it all, right? Too many people think you can smoke and drink and not sleep and not exercise and not eat right. And those people are in charge right now. They crash and fucking burn. They have no staying power. Yesterday I heard she was punished for perjury too for lying for Jeffrey. Awesome. By the way, so if you ever wondered why I don't ask you for money, I just answered that fucking question, right? Because it would be a fucking crime. Good morning over here to Twitch. So yesterday was 80 years since Hiroshima. Um, One of the things that I never understood. Anybody know why? Why did they drop the atomic bomb? Does anybody know? So according to the National Archives, the U.S. decided to drop bombs on Japan to prevent a larger and more costly war because they foresaw a bloody invasion of the Japanese mainland. Targets were chosen, one being laden with military targets and the other a follow up strike after a surrender was not forthcoming. The decision to use atomic weapons is subject of intense debate. Japan insists that it was on the verge of uh, surrendering due to another number of other factors, including Russia's or the Soviet Union's declaration of war against Japan. There's no justification for the use of nuclear weapons on anyone. Not even an asteroid headed to Earth so that you can just rain Earth with nuclear fallout. Awesome, everybody. Great job. Wait, we thought that out. Okay. Zeke said to make Japan surrender because they needed to justify its expense as a test. No, if you look at the National Archives and you read what it says the United States felt like it would make Japan surrender immediately. It would cause a swift end to World War II. They got what they wanted. What did it cost? Like hundreds of thousands of lives instantly. Mhm. And it is absolutely not what we do. No, no. Should have never happened. Yeah, should have never happened. I am become death, destroyer of worlds. And a lot of people have turned their eyes away from all of it. My whole life. My wife yesterday broke down and said that she saw a starving child in Gaza for the first time. And I said, first time. And I got to tell my wife, who doesn't, she's at work, so she doesn't watch the show live. and she would want the links to all the articles so she could draw her own conclusions because she's that kind of person. And so she hasn't been paying attention to this, all of this that we've been doing for the last 9 months. And it's not because she doesn't love me, it's because she's at work. And then who wants to sit around and listen to the guy in the other room talking when you're at home, right? So, yeah, yeah, according to the Harry S. Truman Archives and the National Archives, they dropped nuclear bombs to avoid a longer and more costly war, to force the Japanese to surrender immediately. The first, the bombing of Nagasaki was a tactical strike. Yes, they used a nuke and they shouldn't have done that, but like they used an atomic bomb and they shouldn't have done that. But the first target was laden with military rich military target rich environment. Sorry. The follow up strike in Hiroshima was devastating to their population, but the second bomb was dropped because Japan didn't immediately surrender. Um, and again, I still don't think should have done that. Shouldn't have dropped the first one. You don't have to drop the second one. Yeah, you got to remember there's a lot of people that got to understand like you had nothing to do with that. You don't get to wear that. It's not your fault. That was a long fucking time ago. Yeah, yeah. And to think Japan's our ally. It's one of the crazy things about that whole situation is that Japan is our ally. There's a Marine Corps base in Okinawa. But yeah, if you're looking for a game to play that feels modern, Days Gone. Hmm. I also thought about DayZ. Fallout from Oppenheimer's awful too. There's on our own people. Yeah, yeah. 9/11 feels like an inside job that was meant to spark the value in the military industrial complex in the United States as it geared for war. Yeah, that's the thing is you'll be remembered for what you did. You'll be forgotten based on what you did not do. Mhm. That's the way I always think about it. You have no fucking legacy. Yep. It's that ostrich parasitic syndrome that Gad Sad talks about, where there are people that can't hardly handle the work day. They're miserable in their private lives. And they're so uneducated about what is going on in the world that it almost appears as though they've got a parasite in their brain telling them you could just put your head in the sand. I'll leave. All that nuclear waste is still being felt right here where I live, still claiming innocent lives. That's crazy. It's like Fallout in real life, Bob. Fallout also great game. Great game. Fallout 4 out fucking standing. Mostly cuz I have a German shepherd now. And I think I'll get another German. And see, what we see is that the United States and Japan's relationship soured when Japan decided it was going to take over Indochina. Remember, everybody wants to rule the world, right? Yeah. Fallout 4, Mafia 3, Days Gone. Fuck yeah. hmm The Division 2. I mean, I played Call of Duty for fucking years, Battlefield for years, but yeah, Fallout 4, Mafia 3, Days Gone. hmm Um, the more modern video games, if you're looking for like a modern game, Cyberpunk is is good. It's a story. Yeah, I would like to get another German Shepherd. I think I'm gonna tell my wife we should get another German. Parasitic ostrich. Yeah, ostrich parasitic syndrome. Yeah. Like, I cannot tell you how many people that I know that do not communicate with me or want a fucking thing to do with me because they know that I don't have my head in the sand and that I'm gonna say something that incenses them. hmm Which is probably the use of the word incense and not as incense, like the good smelling stuff. This is to say most of the people that I know are horrifically stupid. Everyone is in a fucking around, and I ain't about that fuck around. And everybody's gonna find out, and I'm gonna be the one that sat here every fucking day with you all. Did we not? Sat here every day, talked about what is going on in the world. Okay, you know what we need? We need a bug out tower. Yeah, I want to know what's going on. You got to know if your neighbor is the kind of person to call ice on you or not. You got to live loud. Testosterone wants to rule the world, yeah. And keep in mind, they don't want to rule the world because they're good. They want to rule the world because they're evil, and this is the only way they can assure that they are not held accountable for their actions. Yeah. hmm The GOP's gerrymandering frenzy is a sign of weakness. Here's publicnotice.co. Yep. When I was on active duty, uh, I wanted to sit out with the boys and smoke and joke, but they didn't let me do that. I sat in the fucking office with people that have been in the military for way longer than me and just listened and just sat there typing on a computer, keeping myself busy. And they come up to me and they'd be like, Malat. And I'd go to like hurriedly stand up and, get rigid and be like, yes, sir. Good morning, sir. And they'd be like, stop that shit. Yes, sir. What's good? And then they would just tell you, I need you to do XYZ. Okay. Good to go. Anything else? And they'd be like, no. And mostly it would be like, go to the PX, get 15 people a pack of cigarettes, and a couple bags of ice. Okay. Take someone with you. Okay. Take the company van. Okay. Go straight there and straight back. Okay. That would be like a task. And then you just like come back, pass out cigs, everybody's dapping you up, and then you just go back and sit at your desk and fucking chill. And then somebody'd come up with you and throw you a $5 and be like, hey, thanks for going to get me a pack of cigs. Here's a tip. You'd be like, oh, cool, thanks, bud. And then somebody come along every now and then and be like, Malat, what are you doing this weekend? And I'd be like, bullshit. Probably recovering. Why? And they're like, hey, I got duty. Oh, really? Yeah, and I'm supposed to do XYZ. And I'm like, okay. Can you switch with me? Like, you want me to take your duty? How much you paying me? And if I charge too much, they'd try to get me to find somebody to take their duty for $100, $200, or usually I charge like 500. And days are expensive. Save Act already passed the House, but not the Senate. But yeah, you should play Far Cry. By the way, you can add Far Cry to that list. You're keeping a list of games. It's crazy. I would not want to live anywhere near nuclear fallout, but what can I say? Right? What can I say? I live in Indianapolis now. The Trump administration says teenagers can now be ICE agents. Kids, don't get arrested by a teenager. They are ICE is going to hire teenagers. Yep. By the way, I just want to point out within 24 hours, one day, ICE put out that they were going to do student loan forgiveness, and people pointed out that nobody with a college degree is signing up for ICE. Like, what the fuck? And within 24 hours, ICE was like, you could join ICE without a college degree. Within 24 hours, teenagers can join ICE. I'm just telling you. That's like a 3-day window. But we got to find the highest elevation in an area that we can all get to, that we can own, and we can build a bug out tower. You need to play the opening scene. You don't even have to play the whole game. Play the opening scene of Days Gone, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It has to be a naturally, positively elevated space. This means that, like, you want. I'm literally going to describe it for you, and you're going to have to find it, and we're going to have to figure out how we can buy it. You got to have a big, steep slope, single entry to the top, right? At the base of a tower. So super elevated, right? And then I'm talking it's got to be 3, 4 floors up and have a big area at the top and be a big lookout tower. And it's got to be well built, or we'll have to build one ourselves. And then that area has to be permanently fenced in, and you can't get in. And then, yeah. And it has to be, like I said, super elevated. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in Indiana. But yeah, I just want to point out ICE is clearly having problems recruiting people. When in a 72-hour window, they say Stacy said, "I'll invest in that shit." Well, before we started working on putting money together, we got to figure out where is the correct bug out location. It's probably in Canada, if we're being honest. The public will run after them and they'll run back to their mommies. Gabby said, "Anybody see Dean Kane's old Superman sign up to be Ice?" Yeah, after he saw his replacement kick ass when the new Superman film came out, Dean Kane thought, "How can I also get my name in the news again?" The thing about it is, old age is Dean Kane's kryptonite now, and if you punch him in the chest hard enough, he'll just die. Yeah, gerrymandering is a sign they know they can't win. Right, right. When they're openly trying to gerrymander, this means they can't win. There was an election very recently where a Democrat won 55-35. Hey, hey, we're a deeply divided country. Half, half of all voters voted for this. A Democrat just won an election 55-35. 55-45? 55. Yeah, no, 55-35. There were other candidates. Yeah, it's oh shit is right. There were other candidates. Like 10% of the votes went to other people. Yeah. I have not heard she is as crazy as him. So I'm disappointed that Hercules turned out to be MAGA. Is that Kevin Sorbo? Is that Hercules? Gravy seals are hungry and refusing to work. Yeah. Remember, I mean, they don't have real bullets in their guns. They don't have real warrants. They know that it's only a matter of time before something real bad happens. It's a matter of time before one of them freaker nests catches a Molotov. You know what I'm talking about? You know what they're gonna say? They're gonna be like, amputees can join ICE. Over 65 can join ICE. Somebody's got to get the donuts. Join ICE. Gravy seals. Pew! See, democracy might make it after all. Barron Trump wants to marry Sydney Sweeney. Huh. You mean you mean Edward Scissorhands wants to marry fucking Sloth from the Ice Age? Sid, the Sloth from Ice Age. Isn't he like Edward Scissorhands? That's what Barron Trump reminds me of. The Library Library of Congress glitch. Yeah, we talked about how yesterday they deleted our articles not sections 9 and 10 from Article 1, which has to do with the writ of habeas corpus and the president's ability to lay tariffs. So, we're in the dumbest motherfucking timeline. What do you call a vehicle full of ICE agents? An ice tray. Hey, what do you call 8 ICE agents in the back of a Penske truck? Nothing. You call the police because it's fucking illegal to transport people in the back of a fucking Penske truck, in a box truck. There aren't seat belts. There aren't seats that face forward. It's fucking dangerous and stupid. So hey, if you see a U-Haul or a Penske truck full of ICE agents, you don't say shit. You call the fucking police. And you say, Officer Bradley, there they are, right there. And if it ain't whoop whoop, and them motherfuckers get pulled over and fucking handcuffed, we got bigger problems, right? If she doesn't want to marry him, hello, who is he? Think he is in the king? No. Well, remember, Donald Trump said when you're rich, you can have anything you want. You just walk up to him and grab him by the pussy. So, that guy's president. So, he grabbed Lady Liberty by the. I'm going to stop now. Republican states' GDPs are crashing. People all over the place are losing their jobs left, right, and center. The economy is in the toilet. Here's video of a Department of Justice official telling a January 6er to kill cops. Barron reminds me of Lurch from the Addams Family. Okay, yeah, Lurch from the Addams Family trying to marry Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. They're not even the same species. That's how I feel. Um, I'll be honest with you. I actually haven't. Let me. This will be the first time I ever Google Sydney Sweeney. Are we saying this is a 10? Can I see a pictures of this person? Oh yeah, that's what she looks like? Holy shit. I just Yeah. I just want to point out that there are men on the internet that will defend her honor. You want to talk about white knighting? Do you know? You should read some of the comments I've gotten. By the way, this is how I'm sitting. You should read some of the comments I've got. Like, you should read some of the comments I've gotten on videos about fucking Sydney Sweeney, where men are like, "Was this a dog whistle? Why don't you just scream about Donald Trump into the void?" Like, this was about how Sydney Sweeney looks like Sloth, like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age, with them eyes all the way out here. You know what I'm talking about? You ever notice once you find out someone is a terrible person, they have no redeemable qualities. None. And they get uglier from the moment you realize they're a piece of shit, right? That's how it actually fucking works. It's called the vajayjay, Jared. Yeah, but all I was thinking about is how Lady Liberty is like 200 feet tall and that old, you know? Cobweb. All I was thinking about is like cobwebs and rust and shit. She is copper after all. Even in the undercarriage. You gotta like take a ferry out to it and walk in it and shit, and you're like, oh, it's hollow. That's wild. Or at least it used to be. So yeah, like I've been pointing this out for a while. Like, have you noticed that Laura Loomer and Christy Nome and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Bo Bear, they keep getting uglier. Alina Cabas, what's Caitlyn, getting fucking uglier. That shit wears on you, man. They're getting more out of control. They can't rein it in. They can't stop. Imagine the size of Lady Liberty's feet. Can you imagine how much money this country'd be worth if Lady Liberty just painted her fucking toenails? God damn. Penske needs to do way better. Penske needs to stop renting fucking moving vans to ICE and to Proud Boys. Carrying hate, negative energy really takes a whole toll on the body. Yeah. Yeah, it really does. It does a number. They can't they can't sleep. They're just so fucking mad that they don't have more power. Some old people do have cobwebs down there, Jared, if there ain't been any action for a while, yeah. I don't know how if I don't shower like every day I start to get like open sores all over my body. Like I'm dying if I don't clean myself. And I get it's because I exercise and shit. Like I have to take a shower. If I don't, like you just get nasty. And I figured it out. You know what it is? Because I struggle with having like the energy to do it all. Right? I struggle with like having the energy to do it all. So I like pay someone to mow my yard. Right? It's because I'm a fucking disabled vet. I can't feel the fingers in my right hand. Do you know how? Do you know that since I've become a homeowner, I've gone through 3 lawnmowers because I don't have that much of a yard, so I'm not buying a fucking riding mower. So I just pay someone. I'd rather just pay someone to mow it. Well, for most of the time that I've been a homeowner, I just paid my brother-in-law to mow it. He just like stopped by on his way home, snip, snip, snip. Here's 40 bucks. Thank you, buddy. He did that for like 5 years. He fucking quit doing that shit. So now I have to pay somebody to do it. But I don't do that because I'm making all kinds of money. That's not the reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it because my fucking arm's fucked up. And I'm not buying a zero turn. I don't need that. Yeah. Yeah. Eat your body alive. I've no. You ever noticed that every single hateful motherfucker I know has health complications, has health issues. Mostly they're clinically obese. They have heart issues. They have diabetes. They have mobility issues. And when you ask them how did this all start, they usually got hurt at work. Sometimes they get hurt doing their hobbies. Most of the time they just got hurt at work. Remember we are boycotting Texas beef. If that fits into your what you're able to do. Remember what you should be doing at this point is not being on Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, none of that shit. Okay? We're here we're live every morning to spread the word, right? To talk about what's actually going on in the world. And I think every day I think about how can I do better? What can I do better? But again, I just got done telling you like I struggle with having like the energy to do it all, right? Because I have like a job, but because I work from home, these dogs, that's like a constant job. It's not homeschooling cuz they're fine, right? But it's like I have multiple things going on during my work day that aren't me working. If society is collapsing around me while I'm at work and I'm not spending any energy trying to take that in, can you imagine what happens when the migrants show up? Tortuga, an entire fucking country had to be evacuated permanently. An entire country just got wiped off the fucking planet. And all those, and it wasn't that many people, not that many people lived in Tortuga, but all those people from Tortuga, they all had to move. They all had to immigrate because of climate change. It was like, if I understand, it was like less than 1,000, and I want to say it was less than 100 people that survived. And every day there's like insane weather shit going on, weather related shit going on. That reminds me, before I let you go, we got to get back to this. Because shit is bananas. Bananas. We'll throw Eat the Rich, okay? We'll throw out Eat the Rich. Listen to Aerosmith. Don't fear the Reaper. But yeah, let's go to Y'all Bot real quick. Look at the weather.
Skies. And we do have a flash flood
Ooh.
warning about 25 miles away from this location.
Great Basin and Central Rockies, you've got a fire warning.
Okay, checking a camera on US 34 in Wapello County. Roads are looking
Oh,
bad under
shit.
some cloudy skies, and there is a flash flood warning.
Garden Grove, Leon, Corydon, Allerton, Seymour. Y'all are getting destroyed. Drakesville, Bloomfield, Milton, Birmingham, Eldon, Ottumwa. Get rocked. Fucking Iowa lately.
All right, so
Iowa,
Kansas,
Kansas, Western Illinois. You know what's crazy? I was telling my wife yesterday about all this weather shit, and I was saying like all these places that we could have wound up, and it's like we were thinking, who hasn't thought about moving more central, moving like Kansas City? You know what I mean? Like who hasn't thought about doing that? Like being more Colorado-ish, right? And it's not that like
remember, turn around, don't drive.
we're not gonna have issues here, right? Okay, so let's look at the big map. Okay, here we are, the big map of the United States. So we can get everybody the weather and get the fuck out of here. Okay, hey, there's still a great fire risk. The flames are getting even bigger than they normally are in Southern California, Nevada, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah. Okay. There's some fire risk in the west part of the United States. In northern Montana, but yeah, really the big heater is in fucking Missouri and Iowa and Illinois. That kind of tri-state area. Um, there's rain all over the eastern seaboard and in the Gulf. And I want to continue to point out that we're entering hurricane season. So, stay aware. It's important to do that. Especially stay cognizant of the weather. Have a good rest of your day. Colorado's still on fire. Dina said it is her mom's 15 years angelversary. Yeah. Now, for me, it has cooled off. It's in the 60s. I live on top of a hill. Oh, we're in smack in the middle of the season. Oh, okay. But from what I was watching from Ryan Hall, he said like you're starting to see the big storms come off of Africa. So hey, have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there.